Imagine planting a little kitchen garden. You're anticipating fresh, sweet strawberries, but, a few weeks later, the plants just collapse.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right. And then you find out your soil is essentially cursed for the next 15 years.
15 years. It's wild.
It is. And that is exactly what happened to a strawberry producer in Trondheim, Norway. They accidentally distributed sick plants and threw the entire Norwegian agricultural community into, like, a near state of emergency.
Yeah, a total nightmare for those farmers.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are exploring this really alarming crisis through the research notes of Kesser and Steen. They're two students from a nature and innovation class who basically set out to solve the mystery of these rotting strawberries. So, okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is going on underground here?
Well, the culprit behind this whole Norwegian crisis is a microscopic pathogen called Phytophthora fragariae. And what's fascinating here is that the genus name translates from Greek literally as plant destroyer.
Plant destroyer. Wow, they really didn't sugarcoat that.
Not at all. I mean, it's an umiseed, which is basically a water mold, and it is entirely ruthless in how it targets the foundation of the plant.
Yeah, reading through their notes, I loved the analogy that it operates a lot like a stealthy zombie infection.
That is such a good way to picture it, yeah.
Because the attack begins completely out of sight, right? Down underground. The root system just rots and shrivels into these dark, dead strings they call rat tails.
Ugh, rat tails. Such a gross but accurate description.
Seriously. And if you snap one of those infected roots open, there's this sickly red core inside. It's known locally as red marv or red marrow.
Right, and because that root system is destroyed first, the plant is effectively starved of water and nutrients, even while it's looking perfectly fine on the surface.
It's just a hollow shell at that point.
Exactly. So by the time the above-ground symptoms finally appear, which, usually manifest as the young leaves turning this really strange, unnatural blue-green color, the plant is already dying.
And the yield is just entirely ruined.
Completely ruined. But the terrifying part is the sheer resilience of this pathogen.
Oh, right, the spores.
Yes, it produces these resting spores that just thrive in heavy, wet soil, and they can lie dormant for 10 to 15 years.
Wait, so you can't just leave the garden bed empty and wait it out?
No, you'd be waiting over a decade. So conventional farming naturally turns to chemical fungicides, things like phosphatile.
But there are limits to that, right?
Huge limitations. They aren't universally effective across all genetic variations of the mold.
Like the related variety we saw in the research, ruby, the one that goes after raspberry.
Exactly. And furthermore, we're seeing resistant strains of the pathogen cropping up globally. The mold simply mutates around the chemical blockade.
Okay, but I also read that some growers try a different route using something called phosphic, which is a copper and phosphorus fertilizer.
Yeah, that's an interesting approach. Instead of attacking the mold directly, phosphic triggers the plant to produce its own natural antimicrobial compounds called phytoalexins.
Right, so these compounds just flood the infection site, thicken up the plant's cell walls, and actively disrupt the pathogen's metabolism.
Exactly. It gives the strawberry a fighting chance. But, you are still relying heavily on external synthetic inputs to prop up a fundamentally infected system.
Because you aren't actually clearing the soil of those dormant spores.
Precisely. And that is the core problem Kesser and Steen recognized. They looked for an organic, natural counterattack, and they zeroed in on a beneficial fungus called Trichoderma harzianum.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Using a fungus to fight a water mold. But hold on, if we introduce Trichoderma into the soil, aren't we just dumping another aggressive fungus into the ecosystem?
That's a very fair question.
Like, what stops it from becoming the next invasive problem?
Well, that is a crucial distinction to make. Trichoderma is naturally occurring and symbiotic with plant roots, so it doesn't harm the crop at all.
Oh, okay, so it plays nice with the strawberries.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about competitive exclusion and active parasitism. Trichoderma is a mycoparasite.
Wait, meaning it eats other fungi?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It detects the chemical signals of the water mold, grows toward it, literally coils around the pathogen, and secretes powerful enzymes that dissolve the mold's cell walls.
Wow.
It actively hunts and eats the plant destroyer.
So it's essentially a microscopic biological hitman.
Yes.
And according to Kesser and Steen's greenhouse studies, this hitman works best when it's paired with organic soil amendments, specifically poultry or sheep manure.
Right, because the manure isn't just fertilizer for the strawberry. It acts as a food source that helps the trichoderma establish a massive dominant population in the soil biome.
Oh, so it creates a robust ecological environment where the beneficial fungus just easily outcompetes the pathogen.
Exactly, and that significantly suppresses the severity of the root rot. It is such an elegant biological solution that repairs the soil, rather than just treating a temporary symptom.
So what does this all mean? To me, it proves that when synthetic chemicals inevitably lose their edge against highly adaptive pathogens, nature already holds its own incredibly sophisticated
We
cures.
just have to be willing to look for them.
Exactly. To you listening, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out when we return to hear more about this incredible trichoderma cure.
Definitely do that. And, this whole thing raises an important question to leave you with.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if one microscopic water mold has the power to decimate a nation's crops and curse the earth for 15 years, and a different microscopic fungus is the ultimate secret weapon to stop it, well, are we human farmers actually in control of our agriculture? Or are we just bystanders in a relentless underground turf war?
Oh, wow. That is quite the thought to chew on.